Right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use some linseed oil, and stuff I use, I hope you can see it, is the purified linseed oil. That's a really good medium to use. I prefer it to liquid clear, to be honest with you. I find it a lot easier to work with, a lot easier to stick the paints over the top and move the paints around with it. It's really good. You don't need a lot. Just a little bit, and you can actually scrub it in there over this gesso, everywhere over the dark area. Basically, I want this linseed oil. I actually scrub it in, especially on here. It's hardboard, is this? So it's got all little indents. So you need to scrub it in there for it to really be effective. You don't need a lot. A lot goes a long way. You see, you put it on, and then by scrubbing, you just make sure you get it into all them little grooves, because this will give a nice sheen to the darks and the lights, and it'll make them stand right out really nicely. And even up in here, I want to come slightly above, just into the sky a little bit. There's a reason for that, just above the trees. Cool. I've done a lot of these kinds of paintings, and they're a hell of a lot of fun, but they're also a lot easier than you think. It's not a difficult thing to do. Sure, a good amount of that in there. Spread it all over the canvas, right up in there. Keep coming backwards and forwards because I had a bit too much over there. A little bit up in there, not black. Don't need a lot. If you look at an angle, you can usually see where you've got it. You've got to look at an angle, especially with the light, it always helps. Just up in here I need some. The last bits. Just block it in on the sides. And my canvas, my easel, sorry, I actually made these jaws and adapted it so it's both good for canvas boards or hardboard and easels and canvases as well, by having the nails behind. And the nails actually help because they stop any movement as well when you're using these boards, when you're using hardboard. It's the loveliest thing to paint on this hardboard because of these little grooves and that. You can get the paint, the oil paint, to actually pick up on the high points of the grooves and get some really magnificent effects. So that's the the linseed oil. That's all on there. Check that it's everywhere I want it. Yeah, that's cool. Very important that you have it everywhere on that black, and then it just coming over. Right, with that same brush, you can get rid of the plate with the linseed oil on. I'm just going to get some liquid white. So what I need to do first is use my palette knife to mix the liquid white a bit. See, you end up with a bit of liquid inside. I don't know if you can see that. And all you have to do is you just mix that back up again. Mix the oil paint with the oil. It always separates, even in oil paints, in your tubes, you're best squeezing them regular so that the pigment mixes with the oil that's in there. Otherwise you get loads of liquid coming out with your oil paints. It's not good. A lot of tips here for this Tuesday. I'm spoiling you all. I can use a bit of that I've got left on knife and just touch it up in there. Save me having to actually put the brush into the liquid white, you see. You can just use the knife and then get a brush. And what I'll probably do as well is I'll get the knife with the clean brush and I'll pick that liquid white up off of the knife. Just put that down for now. So just up in the top areas of the sky, I want to put some of that liquid white. You can actually go right over that tree with the liquid white, just over it. Doesn't matter, you're going to have to go over the top slightly anyway with this liquid white, and then integrate them back in again with the oils. It's a nice thing anyway, because it allows you to sit certain trees back and they look like they're just sitting there and basking in the sunshine, you know, where the actual the sun actually blocks it out slightly, the colour, and get some crazy effects. And it's like me and Torben were talking about, we were looking at the trees and we were talking about all the variation in the colours, and that it wasn't all just one straight green. There's so much variation to the different colours of the trees. Like this one, I'm going to turn it into a copper birch. We're going to have a couple of copper birches and a couple of what's the name of them? Silver birch trees. I want to put some silver birch trees in there as well, because I really enjoy doing silver birch, and you get lovely reflections with them as well. So I think we've probably got enough liquid white on there. So to save on brushes, I'll just close my linseed oil, or it'll dry up on me, and I will clean my knife because I know I'm going to need to use that. So while I'm actually cleaning my knife, I'll use that same paper towel just to take off any excess liquid white that's on the brush. Save myself having to keep using loads of different brushes. Just take that liquid white off the excess with the towel, and that's it. Now I just want a straight blue sky. Obviously it's a sunny day, it's a very sunny day, so I've got a phthalo blue. I'm just going to use a phthalo blue just to start with. I don't need a lot of colour. I want it to be very, very small amount of there in the bristles, just stain them. And with that, I'm starting this corner and go to that side because the light's coming down at an angle there. So for me, it'll be slightly lighter just over there and a bit more stronger over here. So by starting over here, start off stronger, mix with the liquid white, and as it goes along, you'll notice it'll get lighter. If you press too hard, it will all stay dark. But I want it to be light lower down, you see, so just in there, use a little bit less pressure, so it mixes with that liquid white nicely. Yeah. There, and it becomes slightly lighter. We're right over where that tree is. Now I'm starting to run out of the paint now. I haven't got much paint on the brush, so I can just use that same brush just to blend. So you don't want white glows above all your trees. So just put some of that blue in there, slightly. There. Any little holes in the trees, put some in. You're getting about there. Again, I'm just going to step back and have a gander. See, all this sky is too high to be reflected down into the water, you see. That's the whole idea. Now, I might just put a tiny bit more just over here. A tiny bit stronger. And let it blend out to the light. Cool. Just using little crisscross strokes that one then. Now this is the brush with the which had the linseed oil on. So I'm just going to again tap that out. Completely tap that out. And then colours I'm going to use first of all. Let me have a think because I need to mix some. I want to put this tree in here first, I think. So for the base colour, I'm going to use a small amount of phthalo blue and a large amount of alizarin crimson. There. Something about like that. And then I want to get a small amount of dark sienna, and mix a bit of dark sienna with that same colour there, and that's the colour I want for that tree. Now in fact I need to mix some light colour with that as well for the highlights, so just what's left on the knife will be enough. The colour that you left with on the knife, just mix that with it, just in there, maybe get a bit more of that. You want it slightly brighter than you want it to be, because once you put your base colour down, it's just going to mix with that base colour basically. There. I might even make 3 different grades of it. There. Got a light one, a slightly darker one, and a very dark one. Right, so first of all I'm just going to use a 1-inch brush. I'm going to save that, that's my little baby stippling brush. I've worn it down and it's really short and it works perfect for stippling. I've got another brush here which is ideal, a bit longer, it needs wearing down yet, so I usually use them for the darks. I'm just going to use that straight dark colour first that I mixed. Tap into it and push and get a ridge. The bristles should still be open, really open, and then just up in there you want to tap and indicate some of this colour. This is a copper birch tree which I'm attempting to paint now. These copper birch are beautiful trees, they're really delicious colour. Really delicious colour. It was hard actually when I first painted them. I struggled to mix the colour correctly and I didn't get the right colour for them. And you learn from that, so you don't get discouraged. You just learn and then you try and tweak another colour. See if you can get that to look a bit better and a bit more like what you're after. You know, and it's all about that. That's how you get the experience. It's not something you're born with, it's something that you've worked hard for and learned. I truly believe that. I'm a strong believer that anyone can be a good artist. You don't have to have done it from a kid or whatever. It's all about wanting to paint. That's where it comes from, the inspiration that makes you want to paint. And the inspiration for me is nature. Other people, it's portraits, you know. And we've all got this thing. I love wildlife as well. I love painting wildlife. As a kid, I actually wanted to be a wildlife artist. That was my thing I wanted to do. And it slowly adapted and changed over time. Which is great. That's how we should be. We should all evolve. Find your thing that you really enjoy and you really buzz off and stick with it. Cool, that's a nice colour. Now with that same brush I'm going to come into this half colour which I've mixed with some white, and I want to tap again and push into that. I just want to see if that's going to contrast enough. Is it? Yeah, just enough. Just put a few little highlights with that colour first. Just push and get that ridge, but it's still open on the bristles. Don't let your brushes get clogged up. If they do, clean them, you know. Get a fresh load of paint on your brush, because look at the effects you can make. And whatever you do up there, do it in the water as well. So I'm going to put another little highlight there. And these are the darker ones, that's why I'm using them lower down. Because then up here, you can use the brighter colours, the brighter tone, because it's going to catch more sunlight. And that same colour, I actually use my brush that way and then turn the brush around for these reflections, and I just touch like so. See that? Just touch. Just let it happen. Don't fight this, you know, it'll just happen. If you don't kill all them shadows and you're really careful and you take your time, don't try and do it all in one go, you'll be surprised at the effect. Look at that. I hope that stands out on camera. I seriously do. Oh, it only just shows. I'm going to have to zoom in on that while I do that tree. There, now you can see it. Zoom in. actually looks brighter on camera than it is in real life because of the lights. I think it's not always easy to get it perfect with the lights. Now leave it dark on the edges slightly, only in here it's going to be a few bits of that highlight colour going in there. So you can create layers. See that? Just by touching a tiny bit in there, you're going to create these layers. But leave the dark shadows in between the layers. Trees have depth. Mountains have depth. Everything in nature has depth. Even an apple. And that's why still life is another brilliant thing. People who love to do still life. I've done all the apples, and to tell you the truth, I find it boring. Painting an apple just don't do it for me. Although it's a good skill to learn, and I'll never diss it, you know, it's a good skill to have. And there's some people who specialise just in that, and they're great. Some of the stuff they do is so realistic. I really admire their work. Well, that's their work, not mine. See? That's where you've got to think. I don't even like to judge my work against anybody else's, because we're all individual. Our work is our work, and it's an individual thing. You like it or you don't. Best way to be. Right, I'm just going to highlight the top of this brush a bit brighter now with that brighter colour, so I can push into that brighter tone and just put some of those highlights on this right hand side of this brush. See how that's showing on camera. Yeah, that's the one. That's what I wanted. Same thing here. Just touch here and there. I can even make it a bit brighter actually. I can pull through the white. See that there? It'll mix with this colour. Maybe even both sides. And if you just get the majority of it off again, you can tap. And that opens your bristles again, so that you can therefore go back in and get another ridge of that brighter colour. And now for that brighter colour, I'm just going to use it here and there, very sparingly. So you've just got a few really glistening parts on that tree that are just glistening in the sunshine, yeah? Cool. Don't overdo this, it's so easy to overdo this. Same on that side of that bush, just a few that are lit up a bit more, right on that edge. Yeah, sweet. Even shadows nice. Maybe a few little highlights on the tops of this tree as well. Get quite a bit out of one load if you're careful. See how gentle I'm being, I'm not tapping it really hard. It's the way you load the brush, you see. The way you load the brush means you don't have to tap hard, because that colour's on there. Just a tiny bit of a highlight on this now, down in the water, to represent this bush. There. And again, you get a fresh load. It can confuse you at first when you're doing this upside down thing. Right, see, I've just